let's talk about that. After you were made in 1985, at some point you started to sponsor people, and explain how you're linked to the sponsoring of Deadeye Castro from V&E.
Did I Ed? Speak of the devil. Uh, yeah, Ernie Castro, his older brother Chuco, was a made guy. And they had quite a few cardenas on the streets at the time. They had Güero Shai Shrayak, Black Dan Barella, they had Tony P, Tony Palacios, Narizon. They had Jesse Pelo Moreno, who was out there. Negro was out there. Pee Wee, a couple other guys, right? Basically, the whole crew you see in the hotel meetings, right? A lot of those guys were out there. So Deadeye Ed, they're at a junta, a meeting. They used to have them at the parks. They used to invite the wives and the children and everybody, the girlfriends, and they have barbecues. And under the guise of this barbecue, they'd have Mexican Mafia meetings. The guys would pull to the side and they'd have their meetings. It looked normal, right? During one of these park meetings, Pelon, Jesse Moreno, greases, they're drunk. They're drunk. And he agrees to sponsor Eddie, Deadeye Ed. And the next day, Pelon realizes what he did and reneged on the sponsorship. And it calls Chuco, him and Tony P, Tony Narizon, Tony Palacio, and reneged on their sponsorship because they co-sponsored him. And I talked to Chuco because I'm in high power in 1750, Abel Row, 1700 Abel Row. And I called Chuco, and he tells me, these motherfuckers, they did this, and he explained the whole situation, right? He says, now my brother's in limbo. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I says, call up Jesse, call up everybody and say that I'll sponsor him. I said, but do me the favor, immediately after sponsor Jacko, because Jacko was in peril for participating in the murder of Cynthia Galvadan. And so was Mo. I knew that they were in peril, that Spider would have them killed first chance because they were camaradas and they participated in killing his cuñada, his sister-in-law. That's the girl that I ordered murdered. So my plan was to get them in ASAP, just to protect them because they were my friends. They were my real friends. And I knew them before I was a cardenal, and they were my friends then. So, well, I met Mo after I got made, but I knew Jacko from years before. And so Chuco agreed. So we hoodwinked everybody. I sponsored Eddie, and he sponsored Jacko, and I got him in that way.
Okay. And I guess the reason why Ernie Chuco wasn't able to sponsor Deadeye because he didn't want to come off as one, nepotism, two, it's the same another V&E, and he didn't want to deal with the backlash that came with that.
Yeah, I think Chuco had the juice to pull it off because he was kind of like our de facto commissioner. But there is a gray rule in the organization that you can't sponsor homeboys and you can't sponsor your own family. So he was adhering to that. That's why Shai got Black Dan Barella to co-sponsor Sammy, because it was on Black Dan Barella and Black Dan had a bunch of juice. So I think Chuco was just being precautious. And I had enough juice at the time because I had just put in some work for the organization and I hadn't been dragged through the mud yet. So I was still a clean, pristine guy in the organization's eyes. Yeah.
Okay. So Spider's upset because Cynthia was his sister?
Cynthia was his brother's wife.
Okay.
Little Spider, Spider Roy. Okay. It was his wife. And she was stealing, out of respect for the family, I won't go into too many details because I just have that for them, but obviously it's well documented. It's been testified to in court. It's been testified to at the BPH hearings. The family has voiced their opposition.
I've seen the family actually, I think on a television news program.
Yeah.
Speaking against it. All right. So how does Lil Mo Ruiz get in?
I floated Mo's name to the cardenales in the county jail, and amongst them was Perico Ochoa. the individual from the hotel meetings that was opposing Pelon Maciel's induction to the organization. And true to form, just like Shai had explained to me years before, that Perico is an oppositionist and he'll try to oppose anything that he doesn't control. He tried to oppose the sponsorship of Mo with the same spiel that he gave during that hotel meeting. Let's wait so all the Carnatas can meet him. What has he done? And that whole rigmarole that he runs.
Now, I would like to bring this dude in because I brought it up before this came up, and I would like to, I think he would be an asset to us, man. Not just because of any violent that he's done. He's got a good head, and he don't need nobody holding his hand. You know, I don't have to hold his hand.
Well, how about if how many brothers here know the guy?
Nobody here knows him.
Well, see, that's the thing. How about giving some of these other brothers a chance to know the dude?
Yeah, well, see, I said
You know
that
what I'm
about
saying?
Chuco.
You know, because
there's
see,
battles in this room right here.
one of the problems. Your brothers are not getting a chance to meet these other dudes. You know what I'm saying? Before, a dude was a brother, 4 or 5 brothers knew him. Que no, Victorio?
Yeah.
You know, it's not just,
Well,
I know the
there's
guy, I know
nobody-
him, I know him.
Wait a minute, there's
And I
nobody
want-
in this
you know,
room that knows him, but there are battles that know him. No,
That
there's
know him.
nobody in this room that know him.
Well, see, that's,
I know.
I think that's one of the,
You know Pelon.
that's one of the problems. The other brothers are not getting a chance to know him, you know?
Yeah, but we
So-
get dudes in all the time. Nobody, not everybody can ever know a Carnat. Anybody.
Well, not everybody, but some other brothers. Yeah, brother, I'm not trying to.
No, I know what you're saying. There are other Carnales that know this dude though. Nobody in this room, the ones that know him that ran with him are busted.
Yeah, cause see, and then somebody here goes to county jail or goes to another pinta and they bring up this guy's name and he don't even know him. Or even if he just knows him because I know his name, you know, but I don't know him right here in my heart. I don't know him. I never ran with him. I ain't even drank with him. I ain't, no party with him.
How many battles in this room do you know like that?
Well, there's just a handful here that I know, but
There's
maybe
a
that's.
whole bunch of Carnales in this room that I never knew Champ when I voted to make him a Carnal. Never met him in my life. I didn't know China Boy.
Well, I
I
can't.
didn't know Gibby right here. I never knew Perico. I know
Well,
the only ones in this room I know is you.
No, see,
Chuco,
that's
and
another thing
Victoria.
of voting against somebody, because you don't know them. But the point here I'm trying to put here is give us a chance, the rest of the brothers a chance to know him
Yeah, well,
too.
by then,
And then like
the
that,
books are gonna be closed.
the books are supposed to be closed now.
Kind of like when Fox opposes the memberships, it's just a power and control move. And you see this with a lot of Mexican Mafia members. They try to exert their power and control in any fashion they can, and that's what Perico was trying to do to me. And I never really liked Perico. After Shai had spit on his boots and told me about him, I never liked him. So as soon as I seen the opportunity, I told Chuco, I said, this guy he didn't say no, because I didn't put Mo up for a vote. So technically I was still in the right. They couldn't get me for, hey, he voted no already, Mo's not going to be a cop. No, he couldn't do that. I just asked his opinion of it, right? So we seen that opportunity, we seized it. I made Eddie and he made Mo, and we created a voting block that way. I'm really close with Chuco. In fact, when I killed, because Jacko took part in that as well. Jacko overdosed him, and I took him and shot him. During that process, I took the body to Chuco's house. I told him, look what we have in the back seat. And then we go upstairs and we party. We had donuts, and I brought him some donuts, and I brought him some beer. I brought him a chunk of heroin. He just got out, gave him some money. So we go way back. We were really close. He was a good friend of mine. And so when I see the opposition that I'm getting from the old guard, right? Because this is the old guard. Perico's one of the old guard, one of the mustache Petes. And he's always been that way, opposing people and attempting to flex on them, however he can. And I think that comes from the impotence he felt in his life, right? But I don't want to be a thumbnail psych, right? But he did it with everybody. So I seen this opportunity. I contact Chuco, and I'm cool with Black Dan. I speak with him on the phone, and I speak to these guys regularly. So I'm going to push this guy's vote through. I'm going to sponsor him, and I get that support. We backdoor it. Boom. As soon as Perico leaves the county jail, we run the vote. He's a main guy. I got blowback later for this, but it stood. It stood. It wasn't as controversial as some of the other stuff that came up later.
So Lil Mo Ruiz got made in the LA County Jail?
Yes.
Okay. And this was around the same time you was getting Jacko Padilla in as well?
Yes. A month's time. Boom, boom.
Okay.
I'm making two guys at once.